DJ, thanks for joining me. And it's been a hell of a start, not just for the team, but for you individually. How's this season going so far?
Oh, it's going great. Individual success come team success. It's just, happy that we're 5-0 and can't wait to play Indiana this week.
You guys traveled to Iowa this past weekend. What was it like? Because nobody had been there. First of all, what was it like when you guys walked in the locker room?
Oh, yeah. We expected it because, people have told us. But, it was nothing really. We didn't make a big deal out of anything.
Yeah.
We was expecting it, and we just went about our day like, it was normal.
Yeah. It doesn't really have an effect on you other than it's just kind of a novelty.
Yeah. Especially because we knew.
Yeah. But also, Kinnick Stadium, the environment. Now, it was an 11 o'clock kick, so it's a little bit different than a night kick. But what was it like on the sidelines with the fans? It's probably in the Big Ten the closest the fans are ever going to be to you.
Oh, yeah. It was – I just remember, it wasn't as full when we came in from warm-ups. But when we ran out the tunnel, obviously it was full with the stripe outs, and they was on the field. And I was like, okay, yeah, that has got your juices flowing. I was like, I'm ready to play this game now. It was a good environment, though, for sure. It was definitely one of the best environments I've been to.
I know it's great to run out at the big house, 110,000 people cheering for you. There's also something, I've always thought there's something special about going on the field, taking the field as a visiting team, and the chorus of boos. I know that it was strong in Iowa City. Does that get the juices flowing for you as well?
Oh, yes, 100%. It's good playing at home, but, there's nothing like hushing the home crowd when you go to an opposing team. So, it was exciting. I liked it.
I know defensive backs and wide receivers like to jaw at each other a little bit, and I think it was Mikey Sanders drew the unsportsmanlike conduct from one of the offensive linemen at Iowa. Who is, in your opinion, the biggest trash talker on the team?
It depends on the game. It really depends on the game. It can go from me, it can go to Mikey, it can go to RJ. I say the whole secondary for real. Yeah, because we disciplined with it, but definitely, it was kind of.
So there had to be some trash talking at the Colorado State game. Well, you picked up a fumble, returned it for a touchdown. What'd you see when you saw the ball on the ground?
I just saw a ball. I just ran to it. That's really all I saw. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know who hit who. I just saw the football and ran. And I was like, I'll figure out who did what later, and then just ran.
In the last game against Maryland, you had one of the more spectacular interceptions. Walk us through how that developed from the snap, and then the one-handed tip grab. What was that like for you?
I was just impressed, man. And you take an inside release, and I had two hands on him, and so then I was just right there with him. Take an inside route. I peeked at the quarterback. I saw he looked at him, so I was like just waiting on him to throw it. He threw it.
Were you baiting him at all?
Oh,
just making him think he was a little bit open?
Yeah, for sure. Because I didn't want to close it too fast. He didn't not throw it. So I was just waiting. As soon as I saw him, I was like, okay, yeah, there it is.
So in the first half of the Iowa game, you had your hands on the ball, or you had your hands on the ball again. Were you looking at the end zone before you actually caught the ball?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. Because I knew that play was coming, and I saw the ball, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is a touchdown. I'm looking at the touchdown before I got the ball, and I was, oh, man, I'm sick.
So I want to ask those two questions that I asked, the trash talking and now that one. Who gave you the hardest time about it? Because I know your friends are not always the kindest.
Just all the DBs. All the DBs. Yeah. It's not even one specifically. It's just, I can't get the end of that, but it's all right. I'll make up for it.
I want to talk to you about a couple of your coaches before we start talking more about the season. Last year, Ron Bellamy was in the secondary there. What was it like having a former player here at Michigan, a guy that has played in the league as one of your coaches?
It was great. because you can ask them certain questions that a lot of coaches won't be able to experience, such as it was my first time playing against Ohio State. I talked to him about that game. Going to Nebraska, it was just certain stuff to where as a player, you can only experience. And so it was just good having him in the secondary because especially in the secondary, you have to have a, short-term memory. And so, it was just great having him there, just, connect to you, and he's a good, easy person to talk to. And so it was really beneficial.
Coach Clinkscale has been in the back there, as well as Coach Harbaugh, Jay Harbaugh. What's it been like? Because Coach was just on with us a little bit ago, and he's one of those guys that feels to me like if I was a player for him when he speaks, I don't know if it's his tone, if it's his voice, if it's just the presence that he commands. What's it like when he walks in the room and he's talking to you guys about what you need to do?
I mean, it's just business. We know we got to take care of business when it comes to a game on Saturday. And, I mean, it was just great having him, just coaching us. I mean, with him and Coach Jay, it's just two different aspects of just, nothing we're going to get by both of them. Like, we're going to know the game plan, know what they're doing, just expecting certain routes, what we need to be doing in certain downs, everything. Everybody knows all positions, and so it just prepares you to be elite in the secondary.
As a senior, you got a chance to experience a lot of different things. You had the COVID season, you've had a Big Ten championship season, and now you're pursuing and defending that Big Ten championship. What are the expectations that you have for yourself?
I mean, just we got to do the same thing, get Big Ten championship, and we got to get a national championship. I focus on the team goals, and so that's what I'm focusing on right now and beating Ohio State. And so we just got to do those, and we do that, and I'll accomplish what my personal goals.
When you think about winning the national championship, you guys were in the college football playoffs. What did that experience teach you? What do you think you would do differently this time approaching a semifinal game?
I don't know if I'll just do anything different, but I guess more film. You can always do more. So I'll just say stuff like that. I wouldn't say the moment was too big for us or anything like that, but we'll definitely be ready, more prepared when we go back to it again.
Having that experience, is that a benefit, being able to go back a second time if that opportunity presents itself?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's always good to have experience, and so it definitely won't be a bad thing, and yeah, it would definitely be a positive thing.
There seems to be a lot of guys in the secondary that rotate through at all the different positions. What's the camaraderie like, and what's the conversation like when you've got 5, even 6 guys on the field at a time, but you're always constantly rotating through?
It's just we want everybody to eat. That's what we all say. Nobody's selfish in the secondary, so we rotate a lot, and it's just make a play. I always say make the play that comes to you. And so that's what we try to do. And don't try to force a play. Just do your technique, do your 111. It'll come to you. And so that's what we go by.
We're not quite there, but we're approaching the halfway point of the season. I think we've got enough games underneath our belt. What would you say the identity of this defense is?
Fast, versatile, physical, discipline, and just playmakers.
You look at the season that still remains. Obviously, traveling down to Bloomington, you've got Penn State coming up before the bye week, and then you've got Michigan State, the only team that tripped you guys up last year. How much do you guys talk about what you guys have to do on a weekly basis to win a Big Ten championship?
We know what it took last year, and so we just got to do that again. And we just go week by week. You can't overlook any opponent, but we know what the end goal is. And so that's how we just attack the days every day, try brick by brick.